It's feel-good podcasting in your ear. You're listening to the Brian McDaniel Podcast, exclusively on the Digital Podcast Network. And now, here he is, Mr. Cutie, Brian McDaniel.
Hello, everybody. It's me, Brian McDaniel. Thank you for joining us on the show today. I have co-host Vanessa Garcia.
Ooh la la. Hi.
And Natalie Holmes.
It's an honor and a privilege.
Okay.
Oh, you're going to beat me with that one. Okay.
Oh, all right.
I'm so happy to be here.
All right. So today we're going to chat a little bit about social media. Man, what a flashpoint. People get their emotions real worked up about social media. And we're going to talk about things and whether we feel they are appropriate or inappropriate.
Bring it on.
Yeah.
We're being very judgmental today. I'm here for it.
All right, yeah. We'll have some fun with it.
Of course.
And, I think people have this sense that people are presenting a false life to you on social media.
Sure. Yeah.
And I don't know that it's a false life so much as it is, what they're choosing to exclude. They include things that seem to glorify their lives quite a bit.
I mean, I'm guilty of that.
Sure.
He says, sure.
Well, me too.
You.
Yeah, I follow you, but I am too. I mean, I just feel like what I am presenting out there is for fun and to get people engaged and have some conversation.
I'm not trying to make myself look bad on the internet. Like, why would you do that?
Right.
So you elevate it a little.
Right. And, I'm educated. I went to school. I could try to provoke really thought-provoking, profound conversations.
Exactly. But why?
But it doesn't really
Nobody
work out,
wants
to be
see
honest.
that.
It doesn't tend to work out.
Right. No, I hear that. Actually, I think it's now people are starting to shed layers on social media just now about like mental illness and all this deeper and darker stuff.
Right.
But I just went to New England and I was posting like a fiend this past weekend.
Right.
So,
Right. And whatever is going on with you, all of you is important and all of you is valuable and you need to address it.
Yep.
And I'm just not sure that for your health and well-being that, digging into your complexity is really going to work out on social media. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. Love you, love all of you. All right. Now
you're speaking to me.
No, I'm speaking to everyone. I'm speaking to everyone.
I think that's a really good point, though, because you put stuff out there because you want to look fabulous or whatever, but you also have to take into account, like, people are going to say things, and that might not, you may be putting that out there to be like, oh, everyone pay attention to me and give me accolades, but they might not. And then what have you done?
But you know what? I post because I'm proud of the stuff I do. Or like I'm so excited and happy about the places I go or the things I see. Like that. I post for me. I post for my benefit and for nobody else's.
There you go. I like it. Well, so
So
now,
what if it doesn't get likes? That was for your benefit and your benefit only?
Yeah, I'm bad on myself that day. But no, I post for me.
I mean, it's social media. The whole point is to be social and interact with other people. And you can post whatever you like. But know that,
Plus, I know
sometimes...
all right, so look, we're being very open about this.
trying to be fair here.
But it's going to be fun for us to play a little game today on social media called Is This
Appropriate or Inappropriate?
Yeah, so let's go through some different types of posts and see how we feel about what is appropriate and inappropriate.
Right.
Now, I know a lot of us have friends, people in our lives who are very successful or at least portray that a lot on social media, show themselves in very flashy cars. I have a friend who he posts a picture of himself in Lamborghinis. He's in penthouses. He's living a...
But is it his?
Well, he's an heir to a fortune. So I think it actually is his. I think it actually is his.
That's a yes.
Yes. Yeah, he's the son
Or
of...
is he renting?
Son of a very, very powerful music producer. So I think that it is actually his. How do you guys feel about that? Flaunting your money, flaunting what you have going on. Appropriate or inappropriate?
Oh, you go, Natalie.
Oh, my goodness. Okay, so I think you
The Lamborghini is yellow, by the way.
First question answered. I think
that
you
was
brought
so
up
important.
a very important point of owning versus renting. Because with the flaunting, like if that's your lifestyle, that's your lifestyle. If you are renting a first-class seat in a plane, a private jet, to give that illusion, that is inappropriate and focus elsewhere. But I have no problem with people sharing about their life. Don't brag too much. Like, be humble, sit down, but appropriate.
Be humble, sit down.
In the words of Kendrick Lamar.
You know him. You love him.
I love him. I love Kendrick Lamar. I think, this is for younger people. I'm 33, and for people who are 23, some people I hear that they rent these cars for these posts. It's so crazy to me. Or these younger girls that are like renting, or it's crazy.
They're
just
renting thongs for a post.
They're renting thongs for a post. No, they're renting like mansions. Or I just saw a girl in Beverly Hills posing in front of like a Ferrari, and my friend was like, that's not hers. All for a post, because you have these amazing young posters like Chachi Gonzalez, Lele Pons, and everyone's doing for a post because you get an advertisement.
Sure.
So it depends. I don't know. Whatever.
I'm gonna go with appropriate, and even on the rentals, appropriate. You know what? But I wish people would. I wish people would have more fun with it. Just acknowledge that, hey, like this is for attention.
#ad.
Yeah, #ad. I really wanted to spend a day sitting in an Alfa Romeo, so I did it.
I don't even know what that is.
I don't either.
Oh, it's a classic car.
I'm pretty fabulous. I don't even know what that is.
All right, a Lamborghini, Ferrari, what have you. I think renters is okay. I just think they should acknowledge it. I'm going to go with appropriate on that one.
Okay.
Now, what about when people post the long emotional diatribes about their breakups?
I will delete you.
That got an emotional response immediately out of you guys.
I love you, but I will break up with you if you're going to tell the world your business, like deep into the depths of your business. I wasn't there.
Listen, I still look at my ex-boyfriend's Facebook through like other accounts, and I'm like, oh, my pictures are still there. I'm still in your mind.
I mean, I'm not saying I won't revisit a classic, but
a classic.
Still, posting intimate details about your breakup is inappropriate.
You know what I hate is when people are like, I'm officially in a relationship. Like, good for you.
It's complicated. Like, every relationship is complicated. Why is that a button and like eye roll's not a button?
It's serious because I'm in a relationship. Just posted on a Facebook
I
or
like
social media.
eye roll adding an eye roll button. I'm into that.
That
That's
feels
for
so
sure
appropriate. I would much rather do that at any time.
I actually don't mind. Again,
Really?
I don't mind.
You're so
You're
like
a sweet guy,
easy,
though.
roll with the flow.
No, but
See
here's
you
what
look
I'll
like.
say.
You're like a good Midwestern, cute,
Oh,
nice
I grew up
guy.
on the East Coast.
okay.
I'm not from the Midwest, but I will say this: I feel like it is important to unfriend your exes. I really do. I think
agree.
for your
I've done that.
emotional health,
Yep.
Just go ahead and
I
create
agree.
that barrier. So then you have to use your friend's Facebook to go stalk them.
Yeah, totally healthy.
No, but really, like, you don't need to be seeing what's going on with them if you're trying to move on and live your life. That would be my only caveat to the breakups. Okay, how about this one? What about before and after weight loss pictures?
Oh, I hate them. They disgust me.
Really?
What?
Really?
What's disgusting about
No,
it?
you know what? That's a horrible harsh. I probably sound like such an evil witch right now. I think one or two are great, but then when people keep posting them and then posting, I have this thing about like fat and skinny, like fat gloss. It's weird. I'm just weird. And when you keep posting like sweat and fat, I have the same thing with like plastic surgery. I don't want to see your fat post or your befores and it grosses me out. I don't want to see skin on the internet. That's not desirable. I just sound like a
Dang, Vanessa.
I just think I found out why I'm single, guys.
I love before and afters. I agree with you. I don't need to see like 20 posts of you in the gym, like doing your hustle, but like a straight up like transformation to show me the work that you've put in. Like,
that's great.
I'm 100%. Nothing from you, Vanessa. Okay? You're in timeout. No, sweat though. Sweat's gross. Don't show me anything but sweat. I don't want to be a part of that.
No sweat.
No sweat.
I'm telling you.
All right. I get on board with the before and after post. My only problem with the before and after post is I feel like people do that and then they've got like an end point. And so they've actually done their weight loss for the benefit of the internet and not for the benefit of themselves.
Which is why it'll come back.
Yeah, which is why, that's definitely an issue.
But also, like, if people are sending them encouraging words because of their loss, maybe that'll be more motivation for them.
Well, that's interesting because that gets me to one which I definitely am going to call inappropriate. It's the sympathy carrots. When people post like, oh my gosh, had the worst day, right?
I hate
and
that.
use vague,
So vague.
vague
that.
booking. They aren't telling you
Vague booking.
why they're upset or what's going on. They're just pandering
Could
for
really
you.
use your support right now.
Right.
I love that.
What
Sympathy
do you
carrots.
mean?
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, that was Natalie's term.
Who said that? Natalie said sympathy
Just
carrots.
dangling those sympathy carrots.
I love that.
That one I go inappropriate all day.
Inappropriate all day.
Inappropriate. I'm saying, if you need some positive reinforcement in your life, good, find it, seek it out. But that to be guilting, just spreading a wide net of guilt
Feel
on
sorry for me.
Yeah, that I can't get with. I
want to ask, so when it's vague, we're saying that's inappropriate, but what if someone genuinely needs help? What if it's like a GoFundMe or, like some sort of benefit? How do you feel about that? Did those drive you crazy?
I feel like they've gotten too big. They've gotten too big for their own good. Now we can't tell what is a genuine need and what isn't.
I can't even tell. Like, my sister wanted to do one because she couldn't pay her rent. I was like, you're fine. Get a job.
I saw someone put one up because they needed money for their SAG card to become a union actor. And I'm like, I'm not paying for you to become a union actor. Little things. But if you need help with a surgery, like, my goodness, are we homies? Like, what can I pitch in?
Right.
I'm just curious.
Yeah, and I think charities are important and valuable, and
Absolutely.
I think you should get involved. I'm involved with the specific ones that I'm involved with, but every day is somebody's birthday, and if every day somebody's birthday is asking me to give to a different charity, like, stop it! Stop!
Yeah.
I've had enough.
Yeah.
Listen,
I've had enough.
Earn your SAG card like everybody else did. Working at a shady bar with unclaimed taxes,
Being an
okay?
extra for 12 hours. Put the work in.
Shady bar working for tips. Get your SAG card that way, like everyone else.
Yes, and if you want to commit to a charity, you can also do that. And put time and effort and resources into things that are valuable for you. And if you want to have fun and get attention on the internet, do it. Just try not to hurt yourself. We'll be right back on The Brian McDaniel Show.
Woo!
If you're not listening to the Dean Edwards Show on the Digital Podcast Network, what are you waiting for? We never know who's gonna stop by. We might get a little Tracy Morgan.
Dean Edwards got his own show on Digital Podcast Network, Papa. I'm rocking out with the Dean Edwards Show. That's how I get down. We go back like Spinal Cords and 8 tracks.
Maybe Denzel Washington.
You know what it is. We didn't land on Plymouth Rock. The Digital Podcast Network landed on us.
Or perhaps Cat Williams.
Just so we're clear, I don't listen to everybody, but I listen to Dean Edwards on the Dean Edwards Show.
How about Jay-Z?
Yo, how crazy is that? Yo, Brooklyn, stand up. Your man Dean Edwards got his own show on Digital Podcast Network, baby. It's the Dean Edwards Show, you heard?
It's all Dean, it's all love. No matter who you love, it's all going down on the Digital Podcast Network. Visit digitalpodcastnetwork.com.
This is Mr. Know-It-All, Reggie Watkins from Brothers on Football Podcast. If you love the NFL the way I do, and you want to hear expert analysis from a black man's point of view, you got to check out Brothers on Football, exclusively on the Digital Podcast Network.
Hello, everyone. We are back. Welcome back. I am Brian McDaniel with my co-host Vanessa Garcia.
Hi.
Natalie Holmes.
Hello, y'all.
And a special guest on the show today, Raquel Cordova. Thank you for joining us today.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
You know, it just got a little bit more energetic up in this mother, right?
A little bit. A lot of it. You're bringing the
love it.
fire into this booth. I love it, Raquel.
Yeah, they call me the redheaded firecracker because I've had a red hair for the last 12 years.
Okay.
But it's like, the older I get, the more subtle it becomes. But I used to have it like red, manic panic red, where like I would take a shower and it looked like somebody got murdered in the bathtub red. And I'm like, as I mature and I become more of a woman, I'm like, okay, let's tone it down a little bit. But I will never be not a redhead. I will be a redhead till I die.
Right.
Yeah.
The energy is there.
Yeah, exactly.
Even if there's white hair, you're still bringing that redhead, the redheaded firecracker.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. So, Roxy, your handle on social media is what?
My handle is Roxy's World.
Okay.
It used to be Radio Roxy because, like my background is in radio. But I had somebody tell me one time, somebody that was my mentor at one point, tell me, you're like, you live in your own world. Why isn't it Roxy's World? So it could encompass a lot of different things. And I was like, you're right. That's probably the smartest thing you've ever told me.
Okay.
And so I changed it because I, dibble dabble in different things. And so it's Roxy's World, RAQCS World.
Nice
So
spelling.
yeah, I always tell people when they follow me, like, welcome to my world. Welcome to the spontaneous.
Welcome to my world.
Yeah.
Yes,
Welcome
you're
to just random, spontaneous, fun. I'm always on the go. I love life. Like I wake up, and even if I'm having a bad day, it's a good day.
Yep.
You know?
Right.
Okay.
Really?
That's right.
All right. So you said you dibble-dabbled in a lot of things. When you were a kid, what were you into? Were you a performer as a kid?
You know what? I actually was a tomboy
Oh, yeah?
growing up.
Okay.
I was not the little girl that played with Barbies.
Right.
I actually like you guys remember Garbage Pail Kids?
Yes.
Sure.
No.
Remember
Sure.
the movie?
No, you don't
I
remember.
don't even know what that is. I played with Barbies.
I like
Break it down, Roxy.
Yeah,
Educate.
Garbage Pail Kids are like these ugly kids that they're not like Barbie, girl.
They were trading cards.
They were
Yes.
trading cards.
It's like
and-
a gross version of like a Cabbage Patch doll.
Really?
Yes. And so I was the little girl that would build ramps with my brother. You know, I was a little girl that was out there. I have scars on my legs. I would jump on his BMX and like jump off the ramps. And I would play like freeze tag. And I was very active. You know, I've always had a lot of energy. And when I was younger, the doctors tried to tell my mom that I was ADHD. And so
I
I
hate
have
when they do that.
I have one of those Latina moms that's like, my daughter is not that. You will not put her on medication. Because that's what doctors want to do sometimes. They just want to put you on medication and medicate you and keep you, I don't know, just in another world. So
Right.
my mom just...
And you were like, have you felt her redheaded energy? That is what she is.
Yeah, so my mom just allowed me to just be who I was, my mom and my dad, and that was the little girl that I was. You would find me playing hide and seek with the boys. You would find me jumping on my brother's moped. You would find me playing, you know, with Garbage Pail Kids cards, and you know, I've always been energetic.
Yeah.
Like a ball of energy, and I love that about myself because I'm able to give
Yeah.
others life.
Yep.
I feel like there's this sort of sense of adventure with you. And
There is.
Yeah. Yeah, you
Speak on it,
travel a
Roxy.
lot. What is like one of your favorite adventures or your favorite places to travel?
You know what? One of my favorite places that I've traveled has been Poland. Europe.
What?
Really? Yeah.
You are that I was not expecting
That's
that.
amazing. Okay, so me neither. So sell Poland to people. Why is that the fire?
Well,
Just because Roxy is beautiful, voluptuous Latina woman, she travels in the Caribbean, and bam, Poland.
Yeah.
It's exotic, I bet. 'cause
Well, you
it's
know what it is?
exotic.
Free people don't know that Auschwitz, the concentration camp, is in Poland.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I went with one of my friends who travels
shit.
every year. She travels to Europe. She takes these crazy. So she was like, "Listen, if you want to go, all the hotels are booked. Just pay for your plane ticket and your train ticket, and let's ride." So I was like, "Let's go." So I go. And we go to Poland, and we went to Auschwitz, and it was just so edgy. I love traveling because traveling is never a waste of money.
Yep.
It's like
Amen to
you're
that.
always learning. I was actually reading something the other day that said that when you travel, you become smarter because when you land wherever you go, you have to adapt to change like quick.
Right.
Preach
And-
on it, girl.
Yeah,
I
and
always
so
say races should get out more. You gotta
Yes.
see that other people are doing and adapt. Yeah.
And so we win, and I actually, I don't know if you guys have traveled to Europe, but there's like big plazas.
Yeah.
When you go, when you travel to different parts of Europe. So me and my girlfriend, we go, and I stopped to get gelato. I ate gelato like every day, right? Because I'm like, every day gelato, give it to me. Yeah. So I'm
It's another benefit of travel.
yeah.
Gelato every day.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I'm eating gelato, and I guess I took forever trying everything out, and I turn around, I don't see my friend, and I'm like, oh, talk about an adventure. Right. And like
Yeah.
I started panicking.
Sure.
But I always say those who wander are not always lost, but I felt lost.
Roxy got deep. She got. Ooh.
I felt so lost. I was just like, oh my gosh, I'm in a plaza. I don't know anybody. And I looked, I couldn't find her. She left.
Right.
She left me. And I was like, oh, so I literally had to become this compass for myself, like east, west, north, south. And I found my hotel. I find my hotel, and my girlfriend's there, and I'm like, you B, why did you leave me? Like, I'm so scared. I was so nervous. And she was like, I need you to find your way back. And so we kind of got into like this little argument, and she's like, you want to get massages? And then we squashed it right there. Like she's like one of my really best friends. So Poland was amazing. And then we ended up going to this place called Christiania, which is, I believe it's in Poland or Prague or somewhere out there. But we went to this little community called Christiania that is cannabis friendly.
Oh.
And
no. Oh,
yeah.
that's talkable.
Yeah, it's cannabis friendly, and it was so freaking interesting because everybody in there like is cannabis friendly. You see like families, and you see it's kind of like when you light up a cigarette in front of your kids, except instead of lighting up cigarettes, they're lighting up cannabis, and except they mix their cannabis with tobacco. So you're like. like, oh God, this is not what I'm used to, right? But it was so freaking cool. It was so cool. And I told my friend, how did you find this place? So there's a lot of little jewels when you travel. But yeah, Poland by far has been one of my favorite places. Like, I want to go back. It's very magical, very enchanted, very... You guys got to go. Are you guys sold?
What?
Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
sold. Why did I
Europe,
think you said cannabis? And I was like, oh, cannibal friendly. Okay, that's
I
talkable.
thought that at first too, and I was like, "Oh no,
What
she's just being
is-
appropriate for the
What's
show." It's like,
wrong with me? I'm like,
hanging out with
eating
cannibals?
meat, eating
Roxy, we
human
need you.
flesh. That's appropriate.
No, it was just
Cannabis
so
friendly.
cool because I was like, wow, like it's where do you see communities like that? You know, it's like it's a big topic that's brought up in conversation, especially in the United States, especially like, California and Colorado. But I thought, wow, Europe, like I've heard about Amsterdam, but Poland, but it was literally like just a community.
Right.
But it was really interesting because the kids are not asking their parents, what do you smoke? It's normal.
Yeah.
And when you're around something, it just becomes normal.
Right.
We over here in the States look at it like, oh, God forbid, right?
Well, it's also interesting when you travel, you run into communities that have really similar guiding principles, which, America is such a melting pot, which is part of what makes it beautiful and what makes it amazing. But there are also these communities in other parts of the world where everybody believes the same thing.
Yep.
Which is just wild to see a group of people and agree on a set of principles so completely, and just to experience all different cultures and how they come together and how they come up with their decisions on what makes it work.
Yeah.
And in terms of like deciding what makes what work, I mean, I think a lot of what we've been talking about on the podcast today is like our culture, our social media culture. Like, what do we find acceptable? What is appropriate or inappropriate?
I am
Roxy's getting
dying
ready.
to
Roxy
hear
is
Roxy's
getting
opinions
ready.
on this.
She is
I
getting
love
ready.
social media.
Turn the volume
Yeah.
up.
I love social media. I hear so many people say, I hate social media. And I'm like, well, why you want it?
Right.
Yep.
Like, I tend to try to see the positivity in everything that I do. And I have met some really bad, dope people, like badass, like in good.
Right.
I've made some great connects on social media. I've made some like friends that are like still my friends. But I really embrace the culture that we're in. Yes, you have the trolls. Yes, you have the haters. I mean, listen, I was sharing the other day that I had a lady come over to clean my house because, let's be honest, who likes to clean?
Yes.
I know I
Right.
don't. And I'm very authentic and real in everything that I do. And I was like, yeah, this is the face of relief when your cleaning lady gets here, right? And then, you get those trolls that are like, oh, you're in Spanish called huevona, means you're lazy. Like, oh, you're lazy, why can't, you're pretty and all that, but like a woman that don't like to clean it, I'm like, you're a hater.
Oh, my
Like,
God.
I'm a boss and I delegate. Thank you.
in my head,
bye.
I'm like, listen, if you got a budget to pay for a cleaning lady, like it's kind of like you going to wash your car.
Yes.
Sometimes you go get it washed, sometimes you wash it yourself. Like, come on.
Right.
And so, but things like that, I try not to focus on. I know it's going to exist, just
Sure.
like you're going to go drive and there's going to be car accidents. Doesn't mean
Right.
you're not going to drive your car.
Yep.
But overall, I look at social media. I know I'm a voice in the Latin community, and
Yep.
so I use social media with that in mind. Like,
Yeah.
I'm very conscious when I'm on social media. I'm not that girl that's just like, posing for the camera, angles. I get angles, but I am the kind of girl that I like to consume content.
Right.
So if you're not feeding me content, I'm not interested. Like,
Right, well, that
yeah,
brings
nice
up an-
but it's like,
Nice-
come on. Like,
Yes,
what else are you
right.
feeding me? Right? Can we, like, seriously? These girls need to understand. These girls that are listening to this right need to understand, like, it is beyond your body. It is beyond,
Yeah.
like, I get it, girl. Like, hours in the gym, I get it.
What's in your mind?
Right.
But inspire me. Tell me something that's going to make me want to go make the world a better place. Tell me something that I didn't know. Educate me. So I feel like my
Right,
audience...
you started a live stream from a museum recently.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, you were on it.
I was on it. Yeah.
What
yeah.
museum? Ooh, what museum?
I was in... Where was I,
Wasn't
Brian?
it Arkansas?
Oh, yeah. I was in Arkansas. I went out there with the trip. It was a business trip, and they took us to this museum. And I was literally focusing on one piece, and it was this woman from, like, the 1930s. And it was, like, one of the most controversial pieces back in the day of the owner of the museum.
Okay.
And guess why it was controversial?
Why?
Guess.
Her shirt.
I got it right on the
You
live
got
stream,
it
by
right,
the way.
Brian. I was like, Brian, do you love art?
I do love art.
That's why.
Yeah.
She was smoking a cigarette. And so that made the piece controversial.
Right.
Because
Oh my
God
gosh.
forbid you smoke cigarettes back in the day.
And didn't look like a lady.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so I feel like I've become cliff notes for my community. So people will write to me like, Roxy, I learned so much from you. You know, like you inspire me to I feel smarter when I watch your Snapchat or your Instagram. And to me, I'm just like, dang, I need to continue to read. I need to continue to learn because I feel like my community, you know, I talk a lot about consuming probiotics. You know, like you got to put good bacteria
Yes.
into. You never want to get sick. You'll have a strong immune system if you drink probiotics every day. I talk a lot about just a lot of different things. So I love social media.
All
you know,
right.
do I think there's some people that are a little bit over the top on there? Yeah. Do I think there's some people that don't inspire me? Yeah. But you have the choice to follow or unfollow.
Right.
Or block.
Right.
I use the block button a lot.
Or block.
It's like with
Don't
great
come
power.
at Roxy with that nonsense.
She will
It's because you know what?
you.
On social media, you kind of feel when someone's coming at you sideways.
Sure.
Yeah, that's true.
You kind of feel
Yep.
where you're like, yeah, there's haterism behind that comment.
Right.
You feel
Yeah.
it. It's kind of like somebody saying, you know what, Brian? To be on, I don't mean to lie, but well, you know,
There you go.
I don't mean to
I don't
offend
even,
you.
I don't even need to read the rest.
Yeah,
Right.
like I don't mean
Yeah.
to offend
Right.
you,
Yeah.
but you're
Right.
about to offend me.
Right. You know
Right.
what? I got my deer ears and my deer eyes on, and I see what's going on right here all the way. Okay.
Yeah.
I got my filter on, and I see you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. So, but I definitely embrace social media, and it is a big part of me. You know, besides having the mic and stuff as an outlet, I definitely I take advantage of it. You know, but not like. Even though the other day I did an experiment on Snapchat and I felt bad, but I was like, wow, if people really love you, you know, they'll give you what you're asking for. So I was like, listen, it's my birthday and I want a Frenchie. A dog, right? You know, Frenchies are like
Yeah.
$4,500.
They're cutest, so
but they're
expensive.
expensive.
Oh
I was
my
thinking a
gosh.
French kiss, but that too.
I went to the
girl,
French
we could get
Bulldog
that in no
outdoors.
time.
You don't even need to post for that.
I don't even got to post for that. I just got to text a couple of honeys. Just kidding.
Heyo.
No, I'm single, so I could talk like that. But yeah, so I was like, I want everybody on my Snapchat to, if you guys love me, all I'm asking is that you guys give me $1. Okay, because I was like, I am not gonna start a GoFundMe because that's a little too much, right?
Frenchie.
We were just talking about that.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I was like, let me see how much money I raise, right?
Right.
I got 33 year to date, 33 million views on my Snapchat. So I was like, let me see what that does. I
Right.
just literally wanted to see, right? I ended up raising $780 in 24 hours. I didn't get my money from my Frenchie, so I just spent the money. And I told my Snapchat family, if I don't raise the money, I'm just going to take this money y'all gave me and spend it. So I'm just being transparent. So thank you for contributing to the birthday fund.
Right. There's
Even
no
though-
strings attached.
And it's $1.
That's amazing. I want to do that.
That's so transparent. That's so upfront. And it's like, it costs you $1.
It costs you $1.
Nobody's hurting. Nobody's hurting from
Nobody's
that.
hurting, but
Except
I-
the Frenchie you didn't get to have. This whole
I
story, I was
know,
like, what's the
girl.
Frenchie's name? But it didn't work out. Next
I
time.
already got his name, but I don't have the Frenchie.
Well, speaking of names, you are RAQC. You spell
Yes.
Roxy that way. And how did you come to that handle? Tell us about that name.
Okay, so my first name is Raquel, like Raquel Welch. My
Right.
mom named me after Raquel Welch. 'Cause
Redhead.
That's like one of her, it's one of her favorite actresses. And then my last name starts with the C. So I remember when I got my first gig in radio back in like Palm Springs, like before I started in LA radio in 2005. So this was like 2002. I got my first radio gig in Palm Springs. And I was like, so I'm really tight with my family. A lot of Latin families are like
Latinos,
that.
yeah.
We literally huddled and I was like, you guys, I got my first radio job, you know, and I was a morning show co-host. It was a hip hop station. I didn't know what the heck I was doing, but I was just excited. And I just knew that I was going to be in Palm Springs, market 122, super hot, but I needed a name. So we were just like, brainstorming. My brother's like, I got it. He's like, and you better tell everybody about this story when you make it big, sis. And I'm like, so he's like, Roxy. And I was like, no, that's too like Americanized for me. Like I'm spicy, like no. And he was like, no, but you're going to spell it differently. It's going to be RAQ capital C, a combination of both of your names. And I was like, I like that. So it stuck. Nobody on Instagram has my name but me. Like if you type in RAQC on Instagram, nobody has Roxy in the world. And I trademarked it. So
Nice.
yeah,
girl.
She's beautiful and smart.
Yes, girl.
Yeah.
So it is
Beauty
now
and brains,
Roxy's world.
baby. Beauty and brains. It exists.
Yes.
And where can people find you?
You can find me on everywhere.
Yeah.
You can find me on Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, Facebook.
Just start following you.
All of them. And then my website is roxyonline.com. So all of my handles are on there. But yeah, I'm always up to something.
All right, love it.
I
Thank
love
you
adventure.
so much
Yeah,
for coming in and joining us and sharing about all of your travels and adventures.
Thank you.
Roxy, it has been a pleasure to be a part of Roxy's world today.
What an
Thank you
honor.
for inviting me.
Yeah, and remember, we are more alike, my friends, than we are unalike. Come join us again on The Brian McDaniel Show.